And I think that Biden is wholly unsuitable to be president. But my view doesn't matter, nor does the doctor's view, nor the person who wanted Biden to get doctor's tests. The American public have largely concluded that Biden is not capable of being president. The polls moved decisively against him after I mean, they already favored Trump marginally, despite the fact that very large numbers of Americans know that Trump is completely unsuitable too, for different reasons.
We've got used to the daily Biden watch, Biden our time, we were going to call it at one point. We decided against it. How does the president look and sound today? You can judge. Here he is at the NATO summit saying NATO countries will give Ukraine more weapons, including 5 new air defense missile systems.
Today, I'm announcing the historic donation of air defense equipment for Ukraine. The United States, Germany, the Netherlands, Romania, and Italy will provide Ukraine with the equipment for 5 additional strategic air defense systems. And in the coming months, the United States and our partners intend to provide Ukraine with dozens of additional tactical air defense systems. The United States will make sure that when we export critical air defense interceptors, Ukraine goes to the front of the line.
Were you listening to what he said, or were you just worrying about how he said it? This is Nancy Pelosi, who used to be the former Democratic Speaker of the House. This is the lukest of lukewarm recommendations from her.
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short.
George Clooney's pardon saying it's time for him to step aside. Matthew, we had Jim Kennedy on our programme who used to advise Clinton, and he said he thinks that Biden is probably done, but he said the only thing he could do is basically have a barrage of tests with a doctor, several doctors, and then have them brought out and do a press conference live to the whole media where they could ask any questions about the results of the tests that he's been given, and there, for once and for all, clear up his mental acuity question. If you're doing that, have you already lost? What do you think of the chances of Biden clinging on, and should he cling on?
That's an absurd argument. The idea that doctors can conduct a test that determines whether somebody is fit to be president is risible. It's a multidimensional set of tasks that are required to be president. And I think that Biden is wholly unsuitable to be president. But my view doesn't matter, nor does the doctor's view, nor the person who wanted Biden to get doctor's tests. The American public have largely concluded that Biden is not capable of being president. The polls moved decisively against him after I mean, they already favored Trump marginally, despite the fact that very large numbers of Americans know that Trump is completely unsuitable too, for different reasons. A different Democratic candidate polls ahead of Trump. I find it completely despicable that Biden has not withdrawn. He describes himself as a patriot. That is not patriotic. He is deluding himself, and he's putting not just America at risk of a future Trump presidency, but the world. Trump would take an axe to the rules-based order, to the constitutional norms that are so important. I agree with some of his policies. I thought he was right with H.R. McMaster, his national security advisor, to reset American policy on China. I thought he was absolutely right to call out European delinquency on defense spending. But he is a risk to America and the world. And it's not just Biden, but Biden's family, who must be able to see this. And more importantly, his advisors, the spin doctors, Blinken, Jake Sullivan. They should be saying to him privately...
Where's Obama in all this?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. They should be... I hope they're saying to him privately, you must withdraw. If they're not doing that, it's horrendous. To me, they're destroying, eviscerating their own reputations. But if they are saying it privately and he is resisting, they must then come out publicly, imminently, to save America from the calamity of a second Trump presidency. And as I say, I hold them in complete contempt if they're not doing everything they can to persuade Biden to withdraw. It is not patriotic. It is completely unacceptable.
Muriel, is there any version of events where Biden is a sort of figurehead? Ronald Reagan was a little bit weak as well and managed to succeed as a president. Being old is not necessarily a penalty in and of itself. Can you make any case for Biden clinging on, in your view?
No, I don't think so. I think the window for finding a new candidate is closing rapidly. The thing that is troubling is yes, is it, why is it taking so long? Is it that his entourage are clinging to their own power and that they are very unwilling to let him go because their power depends on him, on his? I was I was rather bewildered by George Clooney's intervention in all this, but at the same time, I'm not American, so perhaps I'm not used to it. And I read that the story of Clooney coming forward and publishing his op-ed about Biden needing to step down was like the plot of a Hollywood movie. But to me, it's a bit more like an episode of South Park. You know, South Park, the satirical cartoon. They skewer that kind of hubris very cruelly, but quite accurately. That it's. I understand that Clooney understands what performance and image do, but I'm not sure that he. I think perhaps he should stay in his lane. But America is very different from. And as you said, Ronald Reagan himself was an actor, wasn't he? No, I think it's catastrophic. Having spoken to American friends recently, there is a sort of doubling down. You know, people who believe in Biden simply will not accept that there is a problem. So it's blocking what really needs to happen. It's concerning. I'm not sure that the right decision is going to be made, or it will be made in a panic, and it will cause a panic.
I think they're sticking with him, some of them, because it's just now too late, isn't it? Maybe.
Welcome, welcome to the 2024 NATO Summit. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to host you in this milestone year, to look back with pride at all we've achieved and look ahead to our shared future with strength and with resolve. Autocrats want to overturn global order, which is by and large kept for nearly 80 years and counting. Terrorist groups continue to plot evil schemes to cause mayhem and chaos and suffering. In Europe, Putin's war of aggression against Ukraine continues, and Putin wants nothing less than Ukraine's total subjugation. But make no mistake, Ukraine can and will stop Putin. Especially with our full collective support. And they have our full support. Nearly 24 allied partners have signed the bilateral security agreements with Ukraine. And more countries will follow.